Pow, 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 pow. It's Trent, FC. Man, it's good to be back. Hope you're enjoying that grooving tune in the background. That's just to usher my guest into the room. Guys, it's good to see you. We're going to have a good show tonight. Now, I guess when you guys were watching the countdown, you've seen Feature Friday. Unfortunately, this was supposed to take place last night. And I had some major technical difficulties. My OBS kind of crashed on me and just totally booted me out. And so I was like 20 minutes into the stream. And fate wouldn't have it, I guess, that I would come to you last night with an FC Feature Friday. But hey, why not have Feature Friday on Saturday? Yeah. Hope you're enjoying that tune. It's a grooving tune. It's my lounge tune as everybody is waiting in the atrium, getting ready to be ushered into the show. Well, tonight, Feature Friday is all about doing a critical analysis of a video, some kind of source. Could be anything. Could be a book. Could be a quote. Could be a song. Could be, I don't know. I'm trying to get my wife in here on FC Friday, Feature Friday night, and we'll see how it goes. But I just want to make a critical analysis, a careful analysis on some content, some video footage, and to help make sense of it for us fathers today, guys. So if you don't have your choice of beverage, go grab it. It could be hot and cold, lukewarm. Spit it out of your mouth. It's no good. Hot or cold, baby. That's all we do in here. But cheers. Saturday night. And yeah, we're going to start off with a good dad joke. How's that? Here's the dad joke. What is the similarity between Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh? I'll give you 10 seconds to chomp on that. See if you can get it. You have to be a little observant, a little sharp with your mind on this one. Before I give you the answer, if you're tuning in now or you're going to join in on the replay later, drop your handle, your info, where you're viewing from in the comment section below. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. So here's the answer. What is the similarity between Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh? It's the word the. Other than that, there's no commonality. Well, there we go. We are in. And we'll be on for the next, 20, 30 minutes. Hey, what the heck? We might go 40s. Just seeing how this goes. Have you ever, in your fathering career, in your fathering journey, found yourself sitting, standing, driving, doing activity, and this preposterous memory that out of nowhere begins to invade your mind and unearth all the regrets that you've had as a dad? Now, that is definitely me. I've thought long and hard about many things that I regret early in my journey as a parent. And man, I wish I had my time back. But you cannot dwell on the past. Guys out there, listen to me. Dwelling on the past, just to dwell and have anxious regret over something you should or should not have done, will drive you insane. You have to learn from it. You have to gather data from that experience and just interrogate yourself and how you could be a better guy and different than that last experience. So you just hang tight in there. Grab the handles. I mean, it's a ride of a lifetime. But having said that, tonight we're going to talk about dads and their regrets. And what do we do with those regrets? Like, what do we do when those regrets come to us? Or we don't seize a moment, or a moment comes and we don't handle it properly. What do we do? And the reason why I'm asking that with such passion is because I've been there so many times. What do you do? What do you do when that happens? It's not so easy as 1, 2, buckle my shoe, right? It's sometimes there's emotions, there's exhaustion, there's so many things involved in those moments. And sometimes we're able to grab that moment by the horns and deal with it. Other times it just passes us by. But I have regrets. And one of those regrets I will share in just a minute. But let's head over to our studio. Here we are. Good to see you. What you see on the screen there, guys, is basically a menu. This is what you should expect, or are going to expect, or can expect here on my show. With Fatherhood Confessions, we exist to reach dads. I exist to help dads navigate parenting just through simple, candid conversation. That's it. I don't have a doctorate. I don't have elaborate education, certification. I'm just a dad with some experience, and I read and I gather life lessons from other dads, and I'm real. So that's where it all falls, right there. But as you see, Fatherhood Confessions, I come out with a new pre-recorded video every Monday. You could expect that anytime between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern to be released. On Thursdays, now this Thursday dad discussion segment, I'm looking to tweak that a little bit. And that is going to be, that's going to transition over to YouTube at some point. But I'm on Instagram live on Thursdays at 8 p.m. You can follow me on Instagram, Fatherhood Confessions. I'm over there. And so I have a guest on every Friday, a Q&A guest, another father, and we just, we get down to the nitty-gritty. We just talk about that which makes us dads. That's what we struggle with, our successes and failures, and we see where it will take us. And we invite others along in the journey with us. And of course, Feature Friday, which is not Friday tonight. It is Saturday, but we're cut and pasting tonight. That's what we're doing. But tonight is our Feature Friday, and that's 9 o'clock on Fridays. And this is where I do a feature on an article, like I said, a video, and we kind of just talk along, think along with the content. Cool. With that, let's get that out of the way. And again, if you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning from. I would love to know. So that's great. With that, let's jump into our first source that we want to look at. So, as you know, this session is about dads and their biggest parenting regrets. And I have it up on the screen for you. So this here website I go to quite often. It's fatherly.com. And so I was reading some articles this week, and I stumbled upon this article, and it really stood out to me. And I wondered, and I thought that how many fathers out there, no matter where you are in the game, whether you're in the beginning innings, middle innings, or you're way on into the inning, or maybe the game is done. I don't know. But maybe you're looking back at your life in the early, wherever you are, and you're having regrets already. Because regrets come quickly, and they come swiftly and fast. And so hard, we got to deal with those on the fly. And sometimes we don't have the opportunity to kind of sit and think through some of these things. But I read this article specifically about 16 dads and their biggest parenting regrets. Now, you see the heading at the top there. Dwelling on regrets is not a healthy way to go about your life, and which is not. And I don't recommend searching for regrets to dwell on. That's not in any way healthy, nor does it lead to anything or materialize into anything positive. But it is helpful to interrogate, like I said earlier. Interrogate those lessons and those moments, and extract from them what you feel you can get from them, as you move forward and as you journey through life and through your kids' lives. But I won't go through the intro there, but there's 15 in this article. Now I'm going to take a few that kind of stung me, and I guess most relevant to me. And I don't know which one you would pick, but why don't I just sift through each all 15, and you could tell me or tell yourself, identify with yourself, which one that can you see or do you see as most relative to you. The first one is, I wish I was more constructive when talking to my kids. 2, I wish I was more consistent. I wish I spoke to my children about money more often. That's an interesting one. I wish I realized sooner I didn't have to act like my parents. That's an interesting one, and that's where I'm going to start today. I wish I didn't realize that acting like my parents, that was an option. The next one is, I wish I'd taken a more active interest in my kids' obsession. That's a very interesting one. I wish I spent more one-on-one time with my daughter. Or son, but here it specifically states daughter. I wish I worked out more before I had kids. That's interesting. I wish I stressed less about my son's interest. I wish I didn't judge other parents so much. Wow. I could really stick myself up on that bulletin board. Whoa. I wish I'd waited to tell him stories about my childhood. Interesting. I wish I'd went a bit easier on myself. Boy, I think that one, we'll tackle that one. We'll read that one. And as you know, every one of these 15, all of these 15 are references from real fathers who expressed in the interview, being interviewed and being asked, their answer to what is one of their major regrets. Okay, so they're real answers, real time. I wish I'd been more accepting of my child's phases. I wish I would have traded fights for pep talks. Well, that's an interesting one. I wish I would have worried less about the little things. I think these are the last 2. I wish I said I love you more. And lastly, I wish I didn't yell as much. Now, I don't know where you stand with these, or if any of these. I'm assuming maybe 1, maybe 2, 3. With me, there's about 4 or 5, possibly a 6th one that strikes a chord with me. And I'll get to those in just a minute. Just to give you a hint, this is where I'm going to start. I wish I didn't judge other... No, that's not where I'm going to start. Sorry. Where is the one I want to start with? As my confession today. Here it is. I wish I realized sooner I didn't have to act like my parents. But, time out here, press pause, and we're going to scoot over here, and we're going to look at some case scenarios. Okay, some case scenarios. Now, these are scripted videos, so they may come across as being a little fake, but they're set in a scene and recorded, and you got to look at the message in this. If you don't, you'll miss the message. Okay, so we'll start with this one. This one, a dad kicks his daughter out of the house, and he lives to regret it. But let's watch along and think along with this for a second, and then we'll intermittently press pause, make a comment. So here we are.
It's a really hard market right now, Dad.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm going to back it up. Let's back it up here. Here we go.
Laura, this is pathetic.
It's hard out there, Dad.
Do you think that anybody is going to hire you with this resume?
What's wrong with it?
Everything is wrong with it. A 3rd grader could have made this. This is
I'm trying my best.
not trying hard enough. I'm tired of you freeloading. If you don't get a job within the next week, I want you out of here. Do you understand me? I'm not going to have a lazy bum living under my roof.
Well, wait. Stay and help me with my resume to make it better, please.
What? You want another handout? This is your mess. You made it. You fix it.
So you notice in that scene right there, the father was very, on a surface level, he did not ask enough questions. He was assuming things, right? And when she asked for help, he didn't extend that hand of help. He assumed that it was a freebie, something that another given from him without her going about the effort to do it herself. But this is what happens sometimes as fathers, as dads, we get trapped right in this emotional moment, and we don't take time to breathe and have dialogue. But let's continue.
Taking a break, are we?
Well, I have to eat.
Look, you've been in bed all day. Are you even trying to get a job?
Just because I haven't left my room doesn't mean I'm not trying, Dad. You think I'm not working and I'm lazy, but I have been applying to jobs like all day. It's a really hard market right now, Dad.
Yeah, you know what, Laura? You have never had any discipline. And I find it hard to believe that you suddenly have some now. I don't know where I went wrong with you. You are never going to amount to anything.
So just another pause and a quick comment. And I've done it. My confession, I've done it. I've been quick to a verdict. I've been quick with my mouth and very slow with my mind. And two of them really never cross paths. Saying things like, you'll never amount to anything, it's like a permanent tattoo. It's like a permanent tattoo. You will never be able to remove that from your mind. As a parent, but even more so as a child. Like, your child will never forget that. It's almost like you're disqualifying them based on a requirement that doesn't really exist. It's not really there, but because your emotion, and this is what we're seeing here, emotion talking, but let's continue.
You need to go.
I thought you said I could have a few more days.
Why? It is obvious that you're not getting a job anytime soon.
Dad?
No, I want you out of my house by tomorrow morning. You understand me?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward it here. Let me find, okay, here we go. So at this point now, the daughter has found a job and she's nestled into a profession, and I think it's her secretary comes along and into her office and and informs her that someone's there to see her, and it'll shock you.
There's a man in the lobby asking to see you.
Can you tell him to book an appointment?
He says he's your father.
Let him in.
Hey, Laura.
Dad, take a seat.
Honey, I'm in a tough spot. I lost my job. And I heard that you were doing well, and well,
Do you have any idea what you put me through? I was on the streets. I faced the darkest moments in my life.
I was so convinced that you were lazy and not trying hard enough. You know, I didn't know.
You notice what he says there? Well, of course, let's quickly rewind back a little bit. You notice the daughter says, you'll never realize what you put me through. He put her out on the street, and she became homeless, begging, and a nomad. And of course, the tides turn for her. She gets a job, and now things have changed. The tides have turned, and here's the dad sitting before her, successful, and he's lost his job. And now we're seeing a dad who's telling his daughter that at that particular time when he was mistreating her with his words, was convinced, he said. It's interesting how life has a way of convincing us otherwise. And so here we see now the rebuttal.
Know how to help you. I was trying tough love, you know. I thought I should have believed in you and supported you. I should have seen all the hard work that you were doing and not just the moments that I wanted to see.
Yes, I really felt like you abandoned me. But someone helped me when I was low, and I worked really hard to get out of that. And he taught me that people deserve second chances.
Show me what you've got to lose. Show me.
Now, this is absolutely amazing. I want to tell you a quick story in reference to what's happening right now in this video. I know a father who was an alcoholic, and he had two sons. And one son moved out. Actually, both sons moved out, but one son, I guess, followed in the patterns of his dad and fell into the same addictions, alcoholism. And his son decided to not fall in, not to be a victim, but to enhance his life, build his life. And I remember when those two sons came back, and I'd talked to them before, and both of them said to me, well, I thought I had to be a victim of my dad. And the other son said, I knew very early in my life as an adult that I didn't have to be a victim like my father. Interesting. From the same situation, one choose to be a victim and one choose to be a victor. I think that's very interesting. And here the daughter is choosing not to be like her dad, but to give her dad a second chance like she had been given.
I am really sorry for what I did to you. What can I do to repay you?
You can start by getting me a coffee.
It's good to remember that success may be just beyond the next failure. And you'll get there, not because you're destined to, but because you're determined to. What a great lesson. Let's scoot over here to our second video. And let me set the scene for you. This video is about a father who he has two sons, and he treats one son better than the other because his one son is athletic, sporty, and he's very good. And the other son's a bookworm, likes to really work on homework, and he's just different. And so he makes a decision, and he lives to regret it. You're going to love this. Here we go.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, superstar. Matthew.
got something for you.
Whoa, Dad, it's a lot of clothes. I already have a lot of stuff.
Well, a superstar can't ever have too many sports clothes, right?
Hey, Dad, what'd you get me?
Sorry, son, I didn't get you anything. Oh, wait, actually, got this. There you go. The lady at the sports store gave it to me. It's all yours now.
What's all this noise in there? I was trying to read. Hey, honey. I didn't know you were here. What's this?
I was just out earlier and I stopped by the sports store to get our superstar some sports clothes.
And what did you get Matthew?
Let me guess. Nothing.
Why?
Honey, I mean, he's a nerd. All he does is study. He's not a sports person like Dakota. I mean, I don't know what to get him. And at least give me credit for bringing him a pen.
You're gonna have to stop mistreating him just because he's different. He's your son too.
Now I know these little snippets, these little short videos are kind of over dramatized. I mean, but I'm sure there are some fathers that regret in this dynamic speaking to their kids this way. But to call your son, you know, he's weird or he's a fool or he's different, like that's a bad thing, is overstepping the bounds of course, unconditional love and acceptance for who they are. So yeah, just a quick thought.
Breed athletes. He's your son. Look, Dakota, he's gonna be the one to retire us. Watch and see what I tell you. Come on, son. Let's go practice throwing the ball.
I'm sorry about what your father said. He didn't mean it.
He's right. Dakota's way cooler than me. God made me this way and I like it.
I am so proud of you. It's what you're working on.
So we're here 10 years later.
Baby, it's gonna be okay. I can find a second job.
A second job? A second job won't help us. We are hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. All because we wanted Dakota to go to the best schools and the best sports programs. And now he's rich. He won't even pick up the phone and check on us.
Well, baby, why don't you call Matthew? He can help us.
Matthew won't help me.
Just call him. Just call him.
I'll call up Dakota. He'll help me. He's not answering.
I told you to call Matthew.
I'll leave a voicemail.
It's interesting, just a quick note, I'm sure you made this observation already, but if you haven't, you know the dad is very hesitant to call his second son to help them because of how he treated them. And now he's calling his older son, whom he favored, and he's not answering. He's not giving him the time of day. So you kind of see where this is going. Interesting.
Hey, superstar. Hey, it's your dad. I know you're busy being a pro basketball player, and I'm proud of you. Call me when you can, son. I could really use your help. I'm about to lose the house. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. You're my last hope.
What's up, nerd? Oh, God. What you been up to? I've been calling you all day.
Yeah, I had a long day. I did surgeries all day today.
Cool.
Look, why are you here? I don't have any time for your shenanigans.
I was just in the neighborhood. Just figured I'd drop by.
Okay. Have you heard from Mom and Dad?
Dad called me and left some long voicemail talking about, oh, I'm finna lose the house. I'm going bankrupt. Like, psh,
Are you serious? You sent them money, right?
heck nah. That's their bills. That ain't my responsibility.
Well, I see you're still selfish. It's okay. I'll help them since you won't.
I don't see why. Daddy used to treat you like crap.
I know. But no matter what happened, he's still my dad.
Wow, that's thought-provoking and heart-jerking. Plays on your heartstrings. Wow, no matter, and I've had those moments in my life to my dad, where things he said and done, his kind of methods, thought process wasn't always jiving with me, and it created some discomfort. But I remember coming to the conclusion later in my life too that, you know what, I can't look at the past. I should not incarcerate anybody in the past where they don't want to be incarcerated and just want to be able to get through it and be better and move past. And so we have that ability as fathers, as dads, to keep people locked up, keep our dads and our kids, even in the future looking back, depending on how they perceive things, they have the ability, and that's in their hands. It doesn't always work out this way, but they have the ability to free us or allow us to, I guess, eat our words. And we don't want to leave that to fate. We want to be intentional, right? So just a thought.
Hello?
Hey, Dad. It's Matthew.
Matthew? Is everything okay?
Yes, everything is fine. Don't worry, I just want you to hear me out. I know you and I never had the best relationship. However, I want to help you. Dakota told me that you need help. I'm gonna pay off all your debts tomorrow.
Oh, son, thank you so much.
Send me over your information, I'll take care of it.
Matthew?
Yes, Dad?
I want to apologize to you.
Dad, it's fine.
No, son, it's not okay. I robbed you of a father. Your entire childhood, I treated you so bad. It just makes me sick to my stomach thinking about it. Son, I'm sorry. I love you. Please, find it in your heart to forgive me.
Dad, I've already forgiven you.
Wow. I've already forgiven you. The power of forgiveness. I love that. I have already forgiven you. I've already predetermined in my mind that this day I would forgive you. And I would decide to help you. Despite everything you said and done to me, how much you felt you betrayed me, I'm extending a hand of love and forgiveness. It's just, what a lesson for us fathers. And may it be the tool that causes us to pave a path or dig a path to success. And what I love about that last story is that an apology does make things right. A sincere one. Being sincere is very important. Not fabricating, not hyperbole, not exaggerating at all, but being honest and candid and saying, man, I messed up, I screwed up. Listen, the best thing we'll ever offer our kids, I've said this so many times, and it's a mantra for my own life, the best thing we could ever give our kids is an apology. Because we're going to do it quite often. But do it sincerely and do it when needed. Anyway, let's skip over here. I want to start with this one tonight. Some things that register with me, the regrets of these fathers. And I hope it registers with you, but let me know which one really sticks out to you. For me, it's I can relate to Jordan, age 35, from Florida. I wish I realized sooner I didn't have to act like my parents. And my parents weren't obstinate. They weren't evil. They weren't bad. But they parent the way that they were parented, right, as children. But he says this: I would have listened way less to my own parents. They're good parents, and they mean well, but they definitely screwed some things up. I mean, they messed up. I mean, what parent hasn't messed up? And they were very heavy-handed when it came to telling us how to raise our kids. My wife took exception to it, and I was torn. Ultimately, we made a lot of our own decisions that ended up with some wonderful, wonderful kids. When they're young, kids are like a project for everybody. I mean, that's to be debated. I appreciated the input, but I needed to lean the right way when I was trying to balance. I'm not sure if I agree with the fact that kids are like projects. I think when you think kids are like projects, you'll never allow them to be their unique selves and grow with their maturity and explore and let them be themselves. You're always going to feel that you need to work on something. The kids need to be free, right? They need to become like a freelancer and explore and find out what's right, what's wrong, with our guidance, of course. So this one registers with me. As when I had kids, I thought that I had to raise my kids like my parents did. Now, there's some good things that my parents did, but some things that I didn't agree, and I said I wouldn't raise my kids that way. And that's fine. That's fine. You don't need to invite your parents into the traditions, into the standards that you have for your own home. Remember that. Let's move on. What other one kind of stood out to me? No particular order. This is a good one. I wish I'd taken a more active interest in my kids' obsessions. And so Al says this: my son was super into Pokemon when he was about 10. He was just obsessed with it, and he was so excited to share it with anyone who would listen. I was very meh about it, like, oh, that's cool, or neat, very passive. I really missed a chance there. I didn't need to become a Pokemon expert, which are called masters, he says, but sometimes I think of the way my son's face would have lit up if I asked him to teach me how to play, or explain the difference of characters, or if I surprised him with a special card or something. It was his thing, but there were parts of it that could have been our thing too, but if I'd been a little more proactive. That's a very powerful lesson for our kids, right? I mean, as adults, we think with an adult mind, we look through an adult lens, we grow out of things, we think things are childish, but remaining childlike. And in this particular instance, hey, Dad, I want to show you my Pokemon cards. Want to play this game with me? Like the other night, my son asked me to play a game of Mario. Now, I love Mario, but I wasn't really keen on really playing. There's always something else you could do as a dad. But I decided, you know what, I am. And we played for 2 hours. We laughed. We talked. It was good, just because I decided to be proactive and not allow something to taint this beautiful moment that we had together. So yeah, I can see taking more interest in your kids' likes and passions are important. This is a good one. I'm sure all of us parents, all of us dads can land here. I wish I didn't judge other parents so much. Before I had kids, this is KJ, 39 from Colorado. Before I had kids, I used to sneer and snicker every time I'd see an unruly child in the public. Have you done that before? Man, I mean, how many times do you kind of give your spouse or your buddy a little shoulder and say, man, if that was my kid, this is what I would do. I can't believe how undisciplined those kids are. The parents are awful. We've probably said it, or even at least thought it. I'd get annoyed and think, my kid would never act like that. Yeah, right. Of course not, right? I was going to be the perfect parent and raise the perfect child, a child incapable of ever acting up. I was such a judgy a-hole, he says, and I want to sincerely apologize to any struggling parent I ever looked up and down in a negative way. So that's what he's saying. So he's being very apologetic. Before having kids, I didn't know any better. I figured kids would do what you told them to if you were a good parent. And that's not always true. I forgot that they're living, breathing creatures with the capacity to just go crazy at a moment's notice. Obviously, I had a lot to learn. See, this is a parent who had a lot to learn, judging before experience. But I'm sure we've done that before. Let me scurry on here. Give me a few more minutes and we'll call it a night. Here's a good one. Guys, we can all absorb this point. I wish I'd went a bit easier on myself. This is from Aaron, 37 years old. He says, instead of questioning every decision I made, I might only question like every third or fourth decision. When my kids were young, I would constantly question myself. Did they brush their teeth for long enough? I've done that so often. Hey, my kids come out of the bathroom. You didn't brush your teeth very long. And I made it into such a mountain to climb and conquer when really it was so small. He goes on to say, is this laundry detergent safe for baby skin? We all thought like that as early parents. It was just endless self-doubt. Instead of doing that, I would pick my battles for sure. Is this school system worth moving for? I mean, that's a legitimate question. Definitely a necessary question to answer. Will my kid get salmonella from licking a Lego? And let that one go. So learning to decipher what is major and what's minor, and not going so hard on yourself over those trivial things, and kind of maximizing those more complex things that you really need to think through and make a decision for the best interest of your child. This is a big one for me. We'll do two more, this one and one other. I wish I'd been more accepting of my child's phases. This is something I have a tendency to forget as my kids would get old. I have a teenager, and I'm almost 2 kids in double digits. And sometimes, like in an instance of chores, I would give them chores to do at an age that they weren't really ready and equipped to do it. I would be adamant with it without even any leeway, questioning or anything. Now, that was something I regret, is not understanding and accepting the phase that my child was in and adapting to that phase as we moved along. Anyway, John says he's 62 years old. So, hey, we have an older dad chiming in, looking back, blast from the past. He says everything is a phase. Being a whiny toddler is a phase. Being at sports is a phase. Thinking about nothing but girls is a long, long phase. But the thing is, after all these phases end, or at least become less intense, if you've done your job and you've guided your kid, he'll come out of them with the best lessons learned and leave the crap behind. Your kid will go in and out of things when he's ready. You just have to be accepting. That's one thing that my wife would hammer into my mind often, is that your kid, our kids will go in and out of things, experiment with things all the time. And it's interesting because I read this week of a parent of a son who he didn't know what he wanted to do. He tried and tried. He experimented with this and that and everything else, and he couldn't really find out what his niche was, what he really liked to do. And it was like he said overnight, he decided to pick up playing piano and play golf, and before he knew it, there was a phase change. So I think we need to be patient. We can encourage, we can offer, but let them feel it out. At one point, there could be some I don't know, objective influence, that very well may be the thing that sets them off and be like, I'm curious about it, I'm going to try it. Anyways, John goes on to say, sometimes that's brutally hard, but even if the phase outlasts you, the discomfort won't if you don't let it. Good advice. What should we do here? I wish I would have traded fights for pep talks. I wish I would have worried less about the little things. I'm not so much a worrier. I wish I said I love you more. I say I love you. I can't count how many times a day that I send verbal notes of love and, of course, expression. Now, I'm going to end with this one. And this was me. Guys, Trent, FC Confessions, who started this channel, this was me. This was me. Up until COVID-19 or before. COVID-19 has given me a different perspective on things. And I used to yell a lot. And my wife made a comment the other day, hey, I noticed that your tone has changed and you're a little bit more understanding and perceptive and listening and communicative without reacting. I said, well, I don't know. Maybe I have had an epiphany. I don't know. But this is me. Jake, 49, says, I yelled too much, and that was me. Too much. I would fly off the handle at every little thing if I was stressed or anxious and often wanted the house to be quiet. Come on, gents, lads, buds, and dads. That's us, right? We're off work. It's a long day. We just want to relax, and the kids are noisy and obnoxious. And sometimes we fly off the handle and yell. It's tough. And he goes on to say, kids aren't quiet, and they shouldn't be. My kids in the morning when they're getting ready for school, I have a boy and a girl, and they're just at each other. And sometimes I look at them and just go, guys, just look at your dad. Just look at me. And just look at me, man. I reminded you so many times, don't treat each other that, but I'm exhausted now. Can you just give me a break, right? That's how you're pleading with him. I'm ready to make a deal. Hey, if I give you $20, would you shut up? Right? But anyway, he goes on to say, silence is deafening, I was so concerned with my own mental health that I yelled instead of explaining or suggesting. Wow, that's a really good note. It's a really good note. I shouldn't have been so quick to lose my temper. And here's the confession. It hurt my relationship with my kids, and I worked a long time to fix it. Yelling gives the impression or relates to your kids that you're an authoritarian, you're a boss, you're in charge. It really, really comes from insecurities in our own life or anxiety or whatever the case may be. But I love that last line. It hurt my relationship with my kids, and I worked long and hard to fix it. But your kids are worth that, right? Your mistakes, fixing your mistakes is worth it for your kids to mend that relationship. So yeah, dads, buds, and lads, fathers, it's tough go out there, tough journey. But listen, remember, as I always say on this channel, we're a sojourner parent. We're sojourning through life. We're not perfect, but remember, you are perfectly needed in every facet of life. Know that. I want you to know that. Let's go on over here to our channel. We're going to sign out here. So I want you, as you leave, remember this. You're perfectly needed, though you're not perfect. When you find your regrets are grabbing you by the throat and threatening you with to overthrow your confidence, just remember, your past is not your future. You have an opportunity. Seize the moment, extract the lessons, and move on. Hey, be the best dad you can be. Here on Fatherhood Confessions, we're here to help dads navigate parenting through honest and candid conversation. Guys, this has been a great episode, Feature Friday. Thank you for joining me tonight. And may you be the best dad you can be. And with that, we will tune out. Fatherhood Confessions. I'm out of here. See you again soon, guys. Appreciate you all. Until next time.